Go in there, be stern, and tell them that you want this job. And if they don't have it at that moment, give them your number and tell them to call you when they do. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about some of the things that the recruiters might tell you before you join the Navy to kind of entice you to join, get you more familiar with the Navy, and encourage you to stay on the path to join the Navy. Today I want to reveal some of the hidden secrets that recruiters tell you in order to urge you more towards joining the Navy quickly and not have any second guesses. So let's dive right into some things that recruiters don't tell you. So number one, when I joined, you're gonna go to MEPS twice to swear in, right? So you go to the recruiting office and then they're gonna send you to MEPS to do your initial physical, and you're gonna take your real ASVAB there. So that first time at MEPS, you're gonna swear in and they're gonna make you sign this paperwork. That initial swearing in, guess what guys? It is not real. They have you swear in and they create this feeling that you have just joined and that you can't go back. Well, you can, because you're going to go again right before you go to boot camp to MEPS to swear in again, and that time is real. So if you have any second guesses, any doubts, anything in between that first time that you go to MEPS and the second time, guess what? You can get out. You're not even in. You don't have to go. They just put you through that, so that 6-month wait in between you going to boot camp and then you don't have any second guesses. So that is a strategy that they use to keep you going and keep you motivated. So again, if you have any second guesses after that first time that you swear in and you don't want to join, by all means, you don't have to. A second lie that they tell you is if you want to go to the Navy quick and you want a job, go undesignated, because after you go undesignated, you can pick any rate that you want. And however, that might be a little bit true. So if you go undesignated, what that means is you go into the Navy. It takes about maybe a month in between you going to MEPS and you going to boot camp. You can go in. You will either be an undesignated seaman, airman, or fireman. And during that time, you're going to work with probably the bosun's mates or just doing some crappy jobs because you don't have a rate. And what they don't tell you is you have to wait until you're an E3 before you can even pick a job. And whenever you go to pick a job, you might only get 1 or 2 selections, which normally it's going to be bosun mate, LS, or cook. Not saying that BMs are low-end jobs, because they work hard, they work often, and they work tirelessly. So BMs, y'all got a good job. Cooks, y'all got to feed your people. LSs, y'all got to do your part in getting parts out. Now that all depends on what you scored on your ASVAB, which is the test that you take at MEPS. So if you want a really good job before you join the Navy, I would encourage you to maybe check out, there's this book that I use, it's called ASVAB for Dummies. And I studied that a week before I took my ASVAB test in MEPS. And I scored a really good score, which allowed me to get a good job that I'd be able to take with me after the Navy. And so I think that's very important, is to study for that ASVAB, because that ASVAB determines your job when you get to the Navy. So number 3 on my list is when you go to MEPS, after you've taken your ASVAB, they're going to show you a list of jobs that are available for what you scored. Now, they're not going to show you all the jobs that are available, and this is this little trick, is they need to fill billets. They need to put people where the Navy needs them at that time. And if you score a high ASVAB, but they don't need any high ASVAB rates, maybe they need more cooks. They're going to say, hey, look, here's a CS billet. You could potentially cook for the president. Isn't that awesome? And they're going to play it like that. And they're going to try to sell you that rate because that's what they need at that moment. So go in there confidently. If you score a high ASVAB and you know the job that you want, do research on the jobs that you want, because that's very important when you go into MEPS. Go in there, be stern, and tell them that you want this job. And if they don't have it at that moment, give them your number and tell them to call you when they do. I went up there with my mother-in-law's husband. He was a prior ISC in the Navy, and he went with me, and he knew the games that they played. Luckily, I had him, because they tried to give me some terrible rates. They tried to give me something that I didn't want to do, and he did that exact same thing. He said, hey, you know what? We want this. Go ahead and give me a call when it's available. And we went to turn around to walk out the door, and guess what? They said, you know what? We have one more opening for that spot. Who would have known? They have one more opening at the time that we're there for that rate that I wanted. So go in there, be stern, and don't give up the rate that you want. Because you're not in the military, you don't have to pick what they give you. You can pick what you want. Just be stern about it. So the thing about recruiters is they have a quota to fill. They need so many people to join whatever rate, and so they're going to try to play it like that. Now, something that they'll tell you in order to get you through, push you through, fill that quota is that, hey, pick this job, you'll get into the military early, and then once you get into the military, if you change your mind and you want to pick another job, you can. And they'll say you can pick a job whenever you want. You can change your job whenever you want. That is a lie. If you pick a job and you go through boot camp and you signed up for 4 years to fulfill that billet, you are required to fill that billet. There are some circumstances that rarely happen that allow you to join another rate, and that is if the rate that you're in is overmanned and they need to fill an undermanned rate, then you have the potential to fill out a chit to switch over to that rate. However, that is rare, and I would not count on that probability. Now, the only other way is if you fill that term, 4 years, 6 years, 5 years, however long it is that you signed up to be in that rate, then when you re-enlist, there is a possibility that you can switch rates, cross rate it's called. Now, that's rarely done because after that 4 years of you filling that billet, your mindset isn't going to want to join another job. You're going to want to stay in the job that you're familiar with. So don't let them lie to you and tell you that you can switch your job, because you can't. Alright guys, so another mischievous lie that they'll tell you in order to get you to join the Navy is that they will pay for your housing and your food. And however, in some circumstances that comes true, most of the time it doesn't. And what I mean by that is if you're married, then they'll give you BAH, basic assisted housing, which will pay for your house outside of base. It's a standard wherever you live, wherever you're stationed, they'll give you a standard amount, and you'll be able to use that towards rent or your loan. They'll also give you BAS if you have a wife. Now, however, if you are on a ship or you are on base, for most people they'll give you BAS, which pays for your food monthly, and then they'll take it away all in the same check. So they say that they give it to you, which they do, but they also take it away from you because they provide you with a galley or somewhere to eat for free, right? So on base, they provide you with food, so they're not going to pay for your food. However, if you are married, they take away less than they give you, so you end up having like $100 left over to pay for groceries for your wife and kids. Now, most people who join the Navy are E1 through E3 and single. And if you're E1 through E3 and you're single, then you're going to be staying in a barracks room or on the ship. They're not going to pay for you to live out in town. They're not going to pay for your food because you have the galley on base or the galley on your ship. And so right when you join, don't expect to get paid to live out in town. The only way that you can get paid to live out in town is if you're E5 and above or if you're married. So just remember that when you join. It might take a little bit before you get that BAH to pay for your house or your apartment or whatever outside of base. So these are some of the sales pitches that recruiters will tell you. It's really just a retention thing. They want to retain you. Once they get you hooked and they tell you about the Navy and you're excited about the Navy, they want to keep you excited until you swear in and until they get you right where they want you, until they catch you in their nets. They're going to tell you these things so that you remain excited. Just take these things into mind if you haven't joined yet. If you are already in the Navy and you know people who want to join, tell them this advice because this stuff's important, because there's a lot of people who join and they got screwed over in the beginning and now they're paying for it, and I hate to see that, because the most important part about joining the military is the beginning, actually swearing in and picking your rate. Picking your rate is the number one and most important thing prior to joining the military, because that determines the next 4 years of your life. 5, 6 years, 20 years if you decide to go to that route. That will determine that. So keep that in mind before you join, and I hope this video helped. So please subscribe and hit that thumbs up if you like this video. And I will try to post videos weekly about the Navy, information about the Navy. If you have any questions for me, a little bit about myself. I've been in for 4 years, a little more than 4 years. I'm an HSFC, so I work with the technical rates of the ships, and I'm married, I have no kids, but we do utilize BAH. I've lived in 4 different states since I've joined. I've been moved around a lot, and I've experienced a lot, and I've learned a lot about how the Navy works, and I even know some ways to kind of play the Navy because they played you, so I like to play them back. And again, please comment below if you have any other questions pertaining to the Navy. Thanks again, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.